Hey, what's up guys, it's Jin here. Ever wondered what the matchday atmosphere looks like for FC Seoul's home game? FC Seoul being the professional football team of Seoul, which is the capital of South Korea. In this video, I'll give you guys a complete tour of the Seoul Worldcup Stadium and take you with me on this game day match vlog between FC Seoul and Gangwon FC. But if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Jin. I'm a licensed physical therapist in Maryland. And be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to stay up to date with the physical therapy related content. So the official kickoff time was at 7:30, but I got to the stadium a bit earlier at 4 to give myself a little time to do a self-guided tour, look around the stadium, and also have dinner before the game starts. Getting there on the subway was pretty straightforward because the public transportation system here in Korea, and especially in Seoul, is very accessible. Right as you exit the subway station, the stadium is right there, so it's hard to miss. And there was already a big crowd of people, even though the game wasn't about to start for another 3.5 hours. I think stadiums do a good job keeping the crowd entertained and hyped up even before the game starts nowadays. Having gone to University of Maryland for undergrad, I'm well aware of how entertaining tailgating can be, and especially because our football team wasn't so great when I went to school there, tailgating sometimes was more entertaining than the game itself. And I would say in Seoul, this was more family-friendly version of tailgating. I saw a bunch of food trucks lined up. There were some pop-up stores holding events so that participants can win free prizes. There were some of the younger academy players from FC Seoul taking pictures with the fans. I don't think the culture of these pre-game events have really taken place in Korea, at least not in the K-League. I don't know about other leagues, but it was nice to see regardless. I know there's a lot of potential for entertainment in sports, especially to keep the fans engaged and keep the fans from coming back to watch the games in person. Speaking of entertainment, Seoul Worldcup Stadium had a variety of options to pick and choose from if I really wanted to kill time. They even had a movie theater in the stadium. They also had a big department store called Home Plus, which I would say is equivalent to a Walmart or a bigger version of Target, because they carried tons of different items from electronics to clothes to food. The department store was technically on the first floor of the stadium, but it's still part of the same unit. So if I wanted to go shopping for whatever reason, I could do that before the game starts, and whenever I want to go to my seat, I could just walk up the stairs and find my seat to watch the game. And I had dinner here in the stadium as well. There were a bunch of restaurants, and the one that I picked was this Japanese restaurant, and I had a kasu gyudon, which was about 9,500 won, and that's equivalent to roughly $7.18, which is a really good price if you think about it. And especially because there's no tipping in Korea, I paid $7.18 flat, and that's a pretty good price for an overpriced stadium food. So overall thoughts, I arrived early to the stadium, like 3.5 hours early, and there was still so much to do. And I like that, especially for those of you who want to get there early to avoid the traffic. There's going to be things to do in the stadium to keep you entertained and to keep the fans entertained before the game. The home team here is FC Seoul, like I said before, and they were on a 4-game winning streak, and they were supposed to play Gangwon FC, who were also on a 4-game winning streak, and Gangwon was at the top of the table. My grandparents lived in this neighborhood where the stadium is in Seoul, so I saw this stadium so many times in passing, but to actually come inside the stadium and watch the game in person, it was a very unique experience. FC Seoul is a well-established club. They've won the league 6 times since being founded in 1983, and they most recently bought Jesse Lingard, who played for Manchester United before, and Lingard was the captain for this game, so I was excited to see him play. But if I'm being honest here, I was rooting for the away team, Gangwon FC, here, because although they were at the top of the table, they were still the underdogs. They have a much smaller budget, much smaller team, and I was especially paying attention to this one player named Yang Min-hyuk, who's an 18-year-old winger that's really fast and really skilled, who recently signed with Tottenham. But FC Seoul ended up winning 2-0, and they scored 2 goals in the first half. They were dominating Gangwon, the away team, since the very beginning of the game. Gangwon showed a little bit of spark in the beginning of the second half, but it wasn't enough to win the game. So K-League, the Korean Professional Football League, gained a lot of popularity in the most recent years, and I think a lot of that has to do with the achievement that the Korean national team made in the 2022 Qatar World Cup. But the league itself also put in the work in marketing off the pitch as well to keep the fans from coming back and to keep them interested. I see a lot of K-League teams are attempting to interact with their fan base directly with social media and their own YouTube channels. And as for the individual teams in the league that have seen some success in the recent years, they've developed and established a better infrastructure as a team, and they've placed the skilled professionals that they have in the right places in order to help support the team as a whole. I've also been following the footages of strength and conditioning and training sessions for FC Seoul players, and I've seen that they've implemented the eccentric flywheel training in their most recent video, and that's something that I also go in depth about in this video if you're ever interested in learning more about it. I'm aware of how much value proper training and recovery can contribute to how well the team can do in the league or how close they can get to achieving their goal. So one of my goals is to be able to contribute to the team's success by working with an athlete on achieving optimal fitness and wellness. So overall, I'd say this was a great experience. Going to a game in person can be taxing in energy and time consuming, but it just feels different. You can see the entire field, you can interact with the fans there, you can really feel the atmosphere that the game day brings. And so I enjoyed the experience. If there's any other games or any questions that you guys might have for me, please leave it in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you.